Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here on this Sunday, January 14th, 2024. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous because I am. Yum, yum, yum. So, I just finished being out and about, running around this morning, handling my business. And it's so nice and it's nice and cold, and I like it. Sunny, nice and cold, crisp. Like my body likes that. Likes that better now. I mean, than I did that East Coast muggy. I mean, it was the humidity. I always felt like I was sweating, and it was just a whole lot of things going on, you know. And I think sometimes we contribute things to that is menopause or this or that and the other, and it could be just the environment doesn't agree with your chemistry. You know, that's something to consider, because then when you go to the doctor, and you know they if you say you have menopause, in most cases they're going to say, yeah, you have it, and then they'll just give you some medication and send you on your way. I'm just being really honest about that, because I had a lot of ailments that were happening to me, and I can remember when my blood sugar just got out of control, and it was due to stress, and it was due to the kind of foods I was eating as I was on the road, doing my job, and I was just eating anything, and I was stressed out, because remember, everything's energy. So my energy is clashing with other energies, and we're massively overpopulated. We have these clerics that are in management that are intentionally driving their employees insane or worse, where they may want to harm themselves because of their deviancy, degeneracy in the way they treat people. Some people just really have no business managing people because they have no idea how to manage themselves. They are completely off the hinge in their own lives and in their own realities or fantasies or wherever they are in their thoughts, and they're creating massive just damaging the consciousness of people, attempting to, like myself, that genuinely care about people. But you can't genuinely care about people, the people that you're serving, when you have monstrous personalities that are supposedly leading you, quote unquote. And thus, that's what we have in the pyramid style management with politics and with the military. They intentionally subjugate you. That's an intention. Okay, they want you subservient. They want you submissive. They want you bowing. They want you saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, standing in formation, with your back out, that type of mentality has been going on for decades and decades and decades. And a lot of people see it as progress, or they see it as manners. Being subjugating people is not manners. That has nothing to do with discipline and manners at all. So anyway, I just wanted to say that this morning, because, I'm going to say a lot more about that in the coming times, as I contemplate how I and others are going to help humanity, And I just wanted to come to something that's really, really important. And I know a lot of people are going to dismiss it because they still have their egos running rampant in their lives, and they think that they are in control of their lives, but they're just feeding into their ego. Okay, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning when I started doing these videos, and number one is saying that I was a visionary, and saying that I was this or that and the other, a teacher, and saying that I was this or that and the other. I'm a human being at the end of the day, and because I'm a human being, I am no better than you and no less than you. When we go in and telling people we're this or that and the other, that's ego talking. 100%, whether you want to deny that or not. If you go around saying that you're chosen, if you go around saying that you're a hero, if you go around saying that you're a prophet, this or that or the other, pastor, preacher, bishop, pope, okay, you are operating out of your ego. Okay, at the end of the day, you are a human being just like me and others. Okay, we need to get over this, it's going to take some time, this hierarchical structure of thinking where somebody has to always be on top. Okay, and I'm just saying this, if you continue to call yourself a chosen one, you are activating certain factors that will be experiences in your life, and you may not be aware of that. Let me just say something right here, and let me just hope that you follow. If not, follow what I'm saying. I'll keep talking about it. We do not recognize the power of our thoughts, the might of our thoughts, and at the same time, we are not factoring in how words, sounds, and tones can activate within us and put us in trances. Okay, this has been going on for thousands of years, maybe millions of years, where some people have that oratory style of communication where they can hypnotize you, indoctrinate you, manipulate, deceive you, just by the words that are coming out of their mouths, and it's all intentional, by the way. Like I said, there are some oratory style individuals, human beings, that know how to use their wording in a certain way where they know how to put you in a trance, how to hypnotize you, how to manipulate you, deceive you. A lot of them are in the philosophy field, psychiatry field, sociology. All of those fields of individuals have that type of personality that snakes along in there, that navigates through there. Okay, it's just we all have that type of personalities in all walks of life. You can't get away from that chloric. I call them the chlorics. I think I'm saying that properly. I've said enough about it. Well, they have that style of language, which is nothing more or nothing less than sounds and tones, that where they can get you hypnotized, get you indoctrinated, and usually they are extremely charming, extremely, even though they may not be, a lot of people have this thing about looks, how you look. Okay, let's be clear and effective about that. But somehow, when these type of chlorics, usually, if it wasn't for their charm, they would be ignored. Let's make this very clear and effective. If it wasn't for their charm, they would be completely ignored. So that's why they know who the Adonis are. These good-looking people. They know the good-looking people get the attention. We all know that. But sometimes the good-looking people are so they have so much self-hatred within them. They don't even recognize the beauty of themselves or the handsomeness of themselves. They're just because they realize, a lot of us realize that at the end of the day, looks really don't matter. Okay, they'll bring you in, they'll bring people in, but at some point, and then when you think about it, the billions and billions of people on this planet, sure, there's going to be beauty within all of that. It's going to be a lot more beauty, quote unquote, whatever you describe that as, or someone that's extremely attractive and this and that and the other. A lot of these so-called attractive people hate themselves inside. That's that contradiction going on within them that they have to resolve. So I caution people with these titles that you're giving yourselves, but you can do whatever you want. It's thankfully it's free will. But what you're doing is you're conjuring up certain things that you may not know that you are doing so. When you say you're chosen, just imagine someone is outside looking in, and you're calling yourself a chosen one. Whoa! So what does that mean? Chosen for what? To be more enslaved? Okay, because those are the effects that we're up against. Okay. Your language and your sounds and tones also represent your maturity or your immaturity, most importantly, as well as the energy of your thoughts, more so. So if someone's advanced over you, let's just use this metaphor, that someone's a little bit more advanced, and I mean, I'll say it's logical, but it may not be. It may be illogical, but irregardless, someone's paying attention enough. They can pick up who they can manipulate and who they cannot by the words coming out of some people's mouths, their maturity versus their immaturity. And that's how a lot of people get easily manipulated and deceived, indoctrinated, taken advantage of, because you are projecting these false personas about yourself, your ego-based titles to yourself about how great you think you are, how much knowledge you think you are. You want people at your feet, kissing your feet and putting you on a pedestal. That's what your fantasies are. That you're on a pedestal and you want to be worshipped. Okay, you're nothing more or nothing less than a cult leader. Okay, just pay attention to the known cult leaders like that Pastor Jim Jones. Pay attention to his behaviors and actions, because he was a bona fide cult leader, and we had plenty. The Heaven's Gate, all of those people, and listen and pay attention to their words and sounds. Okay, and unfortunately, when we are looking at these people online, we're not going to necessarily pick up certain things, unfortunately. But if you have worked on yourself enough and cultivated yourself enough, you'll be able to pick up contradictions. I can, and I know others can as well. But you still want to eventually have a confirmation if you choose to, deal with that further in the future, or deal with that person further in the future. So, I know a lot of people want to be important. And that's obvious, right? With all of us, we're on social media. I'm running my mouth, typing shit. Everybody else typing shit. I'm posting this, and everybody else is posting that. We want our shine too. I probably am shining this morning. Make sure I don't have anything in my face. I always do once I go back and review my videos. There's always something on my face, but I ain't re-recording nothing. I put it out there, okay? You can just, if you don't want to look at my pretty face, you can just listen to me, cover my face up and then listen to what I'm saying. So be mindful of why you're calling yourself what you call yourself. If you're not calling yourself a human being, okay, why are you calling yourself anything other than that? I know some people have these titles, which are important, like people that work in service, in a service profession. You're extremely important, but you don't go around, constantly badgering people about that you're a nurse, which is extremely important. Teachers, actual, genuine, bona fide teachers. You just teach. You don't just go in front of your students and keep, at least I hope not, going in and out. This neighborhood, you don't keep, talking to your students and say, look, I'm the teacher here, blah, blah, blah. You might, I don't know. I've never had a teacher that kept reminding me that they were a teacher. Okay, they just taught. Okay, and they didn't need to be projecting all of that. They taught us. So things are definitely different. And that brings me to the young people. I'm going to be really, really honest with you. You need to know how to, when I say young people, younger than I say more so, I'm focusing in on the 30-year-olds, the 30s down. Because keep this in mind. Now, whether you accept this or not, this is going to be controversial for some. It may resonate, it may not. I told you that we reborn. Okay, that's just a word I'm going to use right now until I can It's that way I can make it people understand what's, because a lot of people are calling it reincarnation, and that's not exactly the correct wording. But I don't want you to be focusing on words. I want you to listen to me do the best I can to visually cultivate and contemplate stuff to you without you getting stuck in words. A lot of people will do all this entanglement and this mental gymnastics with words because they think they know it all. They think they know it all. And when you listen to a genuine teachers, they don't just go into all of that attempting to confuse the hell out of you. It's more so about behavior and actions. Okay, so it makes sense to say to somebody, whether it's the right word or not, reborn. Okay, all right. A lot of people accept that. A lot of people call it reincarnation, which is not the correct wording, but that's fine. As long as you have some type of understanding that it means what? Well, for me and how I was taught, we all are personalities that are generated, so to speak, via procreation, from our spirit form. In other words, our spirit form is there, full of energy. Okay? And each time there's a procreation, our spirit form will impose that. And, once that procreation takes place, there's a development of a human being in the womb, usually of biological women. Okay? And our spirit form, which we all have, it's like it has a source of energy that sparks within us at a certain time when we are after we've been procreated. I won't go into that about life, because a lot of people are making a lot of devastating mistakes about when a baby is a baby inside of you, and when there's life inside of you and when there's not. So your spirit form, which everybody has, it's like a battery. It's like a battery with stored energy, and that energy is which is used to create personalities like myself, the human being that I am. So each time you're reborn, your previous personality out of your lineage passed the baton to you. Okay, you are fresh and clean, brand new. Your previous personality dealt with whatever they had to deal with or not. Here you are dealing with what you need to deal with as your current personality, okay, which is filled with, a whole lot of complexities and a whole lot of learning, a whole lot of mistakes, some up and downs, in and out type of experiences, which is necessary to become a developing, genuine human being in the true sense. All right, so that baton has been passed to you. You deal with factors that are relevant to your current existence. What happened with your previous personality is what happened with them. Okay, there's a lineage and there's a tie, but they've done what they were supposed to do. You pass that baton on to yourself. Let's make it clear here. And I do what I do, and it goes on and on and on. At the time of when I'm done, what I mean by I'm done, meaning I die, my baton is passed on to someone else. They will be fresh and clean, building on how I've developed myself. So the point I'm making is that we are who we are right now for a reason. Okay, no such thing as chance, no such thing as something happening, without a purpose behind it and an intention behind it. Okay, so my point to you, whoever you are right now, whoever I am right now, is what's relevant and what is the determining factor in your evolution or not. Okay, so to be so concerned about what you were or what you believe, because a lot of it is delusion. It's wanting to be more than you are. It's so important. It's a lot of people have this belief that they were kings and queens and these towering, important personalities before. And it's so illogical too, because if that were the case, why are you just an ordinary quote unquote human being now? Okay, so if you were these kings and queens and those these massive personalities before, why are you? Because all of us on this planet are just human beings, not in the true sense. However, sadly, a lot of us are extremely degenerate, extremely deviant, dangerous, monstrous type of personalities now. So why would you have been that so important to be where you are now? A lot of you. Because a lot of you that are saying that these kind of things are barely have a pot to piss in and barely can wipe your asses properly. Okay? Let's just accept it. Okay? And my point is, just contemplate, cultivate, be brutally honest with yourself at the same time while being gentle and kind. Okay? We need to snap out of it, is my point. Some of you need to really, truly, genuinely snap out of it and get a grip on your life and realize what are you standing in. You're standing in just as much shit as everybody else is. Okay, you're not above anyone and no one's below you. Okay, we're all in this together. We're all drinking, like I said, drinking poison, eating poison, breathing in poison. Okay, but yet you want to be a king, queen, chosen, prophets. It's illogical. So if you are those type of personalities, why are we in war? If you're chosen, choose to end these wars. If you're a prophet, then you know that these wars are going to be taking place. That's why I say I made the mistake calling myself visionary. I am not a visionary. I'm a human being. That's all I am. No more or less than anybody else. So my point is, get a grip on your life and snap out of it. Okay? And I want to also say to young people, you really need to know how to do something other than play video games, other than watch television all day or listen to music all day, wanting to be the next hip-hop or the next this or that or the other. You need to know how to do something. Okay? If you know how to cook for yourself and family, that's fantastic. That's important. If you know how to fix things, that's fantastic. Okay, if you got to know how to do something with your hands. When I had my house, I did so many things like that manual type of labor, which was so important to me. It elevated me to heights I never knew. I was so proud that I was able to do something. I've not had a house with a big yard. That yard was huge. When I think about it, that was a huge ass yard. But I loved it. Mowing the lawn, planting flowers, planting trees, pruning, blah, blah, blah. Playing in the dirt. I hurt my hands a lot. Dealing with tools I never used. Because I used to watch my father. I told you my father could tear a house down and build it back up. But he had the gentleness and kindness that he could take care of his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, take care of us. He was a kind and gentle man, and everyone in my family will say that. A lot of people attempted to use him as well because of his kindness and generosity. That's unfortunate. But you need to know. But he could build a house if he needed to. He could fix things. Be able to. You got to stick your hand. What if something's happening with the toilet? What are you gonna do? Call a plumber? Okay. All I'm saying is that there are going to be moments in time in the near future, more so than the distant, where you're going to be left alone to your own vices. Meaning you're going to have to figure out how to fix things whether you're renting or not. Because first of all, no one's going to come out and endanger themselves to save you. Okay? If they tell you to what they said, lock in, what is that term? I don't know, where you need to stay your ass home. Okay? You need to know, you need to stay your ass home and figure out how to feed yourself and this and that and the other. Fix things instead of waiting for the landlord or waiting for a contractor. This and that, just so you can get by. Some people just do not know how to do anything, because unfortunately I didn't realize those type of educational faculties no longer exist that treat that the important factors like electricians, carpenters, plumbers, mechanics. Those kind of things are important. It's not important. Yeah, it's important if you can build an application online. Okay, fantastic. Okay, but can you cook? Okay, go clean your room. Okay, can you change the oil in a vehicle? Can you change a tire? I can't do too many of those kind of manual things like that because like I said, I injured my hands. So I had to be careful because I fractured my thumb the other day, doing stuff around in here. It's just sometimes when stuff has to be done, stuff has to be done. That's my point. So, and I don't want to keep calling, and I don't want to call the what do they call them? The handyman or whatever around here, maintenance man. I do everything I can myself, if I can. And if not, I'll call somebody to help me. I'd rather call somebody I know to help me than to call the maintenance man. I'll be honest with you. Something to consider. Okay? So, especially if you're in these houses. Okay? All right. So, I just want to bring that up on this Sunday morning, on this beautiful Sunday morning. Know how to do something. Okay? Other than playing video games, watching television, listening to music. It's great that if you go outside and play basketball, that's fantastic. Baseball, football, tennis. I like tennis right now. I used to, back in the day, love track and field. I wanted to play basketball, but my mom wouldn't allow me to, because, you had to stay after school. She wouldn't allow me to stay after school for a certain type of sports. Oh, well. I like golf. I love outdoor activities. Do you know how to swim? I'm an outdoors person. And unfortunately, we all know that most indoor jobs are going to be taken over by artificial intelligence. So anyone in that delusion believing otherwise, then you're in a delusion. They're going to replace that. So what can you do with your hands? Some people just do not, surprisingly, I said this, and this is not being offensive, but we have a lot of feminine like biological males. They're stuck in that feminine side of themselves. They haven't neutralized the masculinity to make it equalized. That means that when you equalize your feminine and your masculine, you're untouchable, actually. You can do more than you can imagine. But when you are just focusing on the feminine side of yourself, wanting to look good, wanting to smell good, don't want to get your hands dirty, or vice versa, being masculine, toxic, where you're in the gym all the time, building yourself up, those are some of the weakest men in the world. They can probably lift 3,000 pounds, but they're weak otherwise. Okay? They're weak otherwise. Figure it out. So, that's all I want to share this morning. For now, I got, of course, I got a lot of stuff to share. And remember, these are my theories and opinions. I have my perspective and my outlook on life, the way I interpret things based on my experience. And it's so important to have experiences to be able to develop yourself and cultivate yourself and elevate yourself. If you think if you think you don't need experiences, you're going to be the first to go. Okay, you're going to be the first to go. Okay, you're going to either, because you're not going to be able to save yourself, and you're a burden to yourself and to society as well. I told you, a lot of people need to pass their batons over to somebody else, especially those that have been in certain positions for so long. Pass that baton on to someone else. A lot of people are out there attempting to save face. A lot of these Clorox that have been exposed. And it's obvious they were nothing more, nothing less than smoke and mirrors. They were projecting themselves to be more than they are. Some of them, they get, because like I said, you look at the computer screen, you have no idea of the stature of certain people. You really don't. And I've always been surprised, because I always look at people on the computer screen or when I had a television, because I have no television or streaming right now. Right now that's not necessary for me. But I used to see people on the computer screen and think, wow, blah blah blah. Especially with the men back in the day, I can care more or less about all of that, but I'll look at them and say, God, they look like they are at least 6 feet tall or more. Some of the men, the way they project themselves, and then you see them in person, they're barely 5 feet. Does that matter? Well, it does, because maybe you need to tone it down and be a little bit more neutralized about who you think you are. Okay. It ought to not, come down to that, but it does. Okay, and stop. And a lot of people get into fields, and in environments where they know they're just projecting illusions, fantasy, imagination. Okay, and they sometimes don't know how to come out of that either, and that's that ego. That ego doesn't allow them to come out of that and snap out of it. Okay, you're playing a character. Sometimes you either playing a character, whether you are entertaining or not, okay, whether you're an influencer or not. I just come across as I come across, hey, well, however you perceive me, I tell you what I mean, you see what I look like. I've told you how tall I am. I'm 5'8", about 170. I tell you what's going on with me, okay, or maybe a little heavier, because I've been eating a little bit more. I mean, I have nothing to hide, is my point. And I'm not attempting to impress. All I'm attempting to do is help and provide information and have fun with it. Suspend my ego, suspend my beliefs, my faith, this and that and the other. And I'm going to talk about faith too at another time, later in the week, and how it's suffocating you. Your beliefs suffocate you, your faith, all of that stuff suffocates you. And your ego can get you killed if you don't know how to suspend it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. It's about universal love, and I'm sending it to you. Spread it. Trust me. I'll be back.